So, welcome back to Mental Health Awareness Week. We are here trying to encourage you to engage in a set of positive daily behaviours that change your incredible brain. And we've been inspired by the Mental Health Foundation's focus on mental health. They're particularly focused on connecting with nature. So, we wanted to talk to you about rock number 7. One of the 12 rocks of well-being, rock number 7, walking outside in nature. So we've got two videos released over the next couple of days about the power of walking outside in nature in terms of the neuroscience of what it's doing to our brains. So we're going to need to understand the problem in the video. In this video, we're going to explore the problem that our brains generate in terms of the way they process information, and why, in the second video, why rock number 7, walking outside in nature, helps. So we wanted to use this opportunity to connect with you about nature and the other skills that support well-being. Do look at the Mental Health Foundation website. All of this week, the focus is on mental health. And our mission is to help you make every day a masterpiece. We want you to enjoy, engage more in your fantastic life by understanding your incredible brain. It's all about going from being a brain bot to being a neuro ninja. And here at Action Your Potential, we work with 120 schools nationally, businesses, teams, individuals, families. Our mission is to help everyone be the best version of themselves. And that's because if we understand that our brain builds our mind, we understand that the evidence strongly from neuroscience and psychology is 50% of how we feel today is down to what we've done in the previous 24 hours. And these are those 12 rocks of well-being, those 12 activities that we need to engage in every day. And walking outside in nature is really, really important. Here we are in the depths of the countryside, walking outside in nature. Rock number 7 is really important. But why? Why does it make such a difference? Well, first of all, let's look at the problem that we have in our brains. Our brains are amazing, but they process information in a way that has been designed to cope with living in groups on the African savannah 100,000 years ago. And obviously the world's changed a lot since then. So let's look at mood first of all. And if you think about mood is built of emotion. It's built of the state of your body right now. It's built of kind of longer term issues around health. It's built of patterns of thinking. It's built of how much exercise we've done, but it moves about. It moves about changing in relation to the particular mood that we're in relation to the particular brain state that we're in. Mood is like weather. It's the weather of the brain, and it shifts around. And exercise and movement and walking outside is a thing that supports the constant shifting of mood. It helps us move mood. If we get stuck in a particular mood, movement, exercise is really important to that whole process of moving our mood around. Why is all of this stuff important? It's important because we live in a brain that activates 3 times more powerfully when it's processing negative information than when it's processing positive information. And you'll know that because you live in a brain. If you've had a generally okay day and then something annoying happens, you're going to think about that annoying thing. Which means if we just live by accident in our brain in the 21st century, we're likely to be stressed, unproductive, demotivated. In short, we're likely to be moany and possibly unwell. In short, we might even begin to see the emergence of a mental health crisis. And actually, if you look across the 21st century high income developing country world, there's a huge amount of mental illness, which you'd expect to be resolved actually, because those countries where the mental illness issues are high are often some of the countries with the highest incomes, best health services, etc. So there's obviously something missing from that way of life, some process that's missing. And it's about the management of the mind. It's about the fact that the 21st century that we find ourselves in is a very intense process for the brain to experience, particularly some ancient parts of the brain. So we need to live by designing our brain, not by accident. And it's the same brain that sharpened hand axes like this chap here, that landed perseverance and ingenuity on Mars, at the beginning of 2021. Same brain, hasn't changed a great deal. In fact, you could say that our brain is Moany, Groany and Droney by default. Let me explain what I mean by that. Our brain spends a lot of its time processing information and focusing much more on negative information over positive information. Why is that? In fact, negative information activates the brain 3 times more powerfully than positive information. Why? Because that sort of approach in a brain kept our ancestors alive. If there's a slight noise in the woods and you decide not to go down that path, you're not going to get eaten by the potential predator that caused that noise. So if you're cautious and anxious, you live longer and you get to pass on those genes for caution and anxiety. If you're happy and joyful and you go down that path and get eaten, you don't get to pass those genes on. So our brains moan first. They literally use strong negative emotions, moaning, to spot problems in the world. They then groan second, which is, oh really, I've spotted that problem, I've got to sort that out now. And then we can get stuck in a kind of moany, groany and droney narrative in our own heads. Does that happen to you? Certainly happens to me sometimes, and you can hear it out of other people's mouths as well. Oh, I've got to do that now. Oh really? So we get stuck in this moany, groany, droney brain. And then some of the ways the brain functions, particularly the emotion and memory system, we've got this effect from psychology called mood congruent attentional bias, which basically means whatever mood we're in, our brain helpfully reminds us of all the previous times we were in this mood. So when we're feeling sad, our hippocampus, which is part of our memory structure deep in our emotional brain, might connect us with other instances as well we felt the same. So our whole world vibrates to sadness. So not only are we in a difficult mood, we're stuck there, and our hippocampus helpfully reminds us of the last time we were angry or sad or frustrated, or the last time we failed to achieve something that we're aiming to achieve. So at the end of this first video, before we look at the power of walking outside in nature, because it literally changes your brain state, start to notice your moany, groany and droney brain and those of the people around you. Mindfulness really helps us sharpen our awareness of how negative our brain's output can be sometimes. Mindfulness, focusing on your breathing, noticing where your thoughts are. We'll see you in the next video tomorrow.